Every system creates watchdogs, institutions, agencies, and voices meant to protect the public from abuse of power. But a deeper question always follows. Who watches the watchdog? In Nigeria's digital age, this question has moved from policy papers into public debate. As online activists challenge authority and demand accountability, scrutiny has turned toward the activists themselves.
VeryDarkMan, often associated with outspoken digital accountability, has repeatedly raised this question, not to escape responsibility, but to highlight a gap in governance. When institutions fail, citizens step in. But when citizens gain influence, oversight becomes necessary again. This cycle lies at the heart of modern accountability. Understanding this tension is
From VDM's perspective, accountability should not be selective. His view centers on the idea that no individual, institution, or movement should operate without scrutiny. While he supports public oversight of power, he also acknowledges that influence, whether held by government or activists, must be questioned. In his framing, watchdogs exist because traditional systems often fail to self-correct. Balance, he says, is only found when everyone answers.
But once watchdogs gain attention and authority, they too must be open to criticism. This view challenges a common assumption that speaking for the public automatically removes the need for oversight. Instead, VDM's position pushes for consistency, arguing that accountability loses meaning if it only applies in one direction. We all check one another. That is how trust is built, brick by brick. No one should be too loud.
VDM's view reflects this tension. He argues that public trust depends on openness, whether the voice belongs to government or to a digital commentator. Without clear standards, influence can drift into unchecked authority. The debate is not about silencing voices, but about ensuring that power, once gained, remains accountable to the same principles it demands from others.
The question of who watches the watchdog resonates strongly in Nigeria because trust in institutions is often fragile. When oversight bodies appear weak or compromised, citizens turn to independent voices. Digital activists fill gaps left by slow systems and limited transparency. But this shift creates a new reality. Online influence can grow rapidly, often without formal checks. Each scroll, each share, each message becomes part of a broader conversation.
Critics of digital activism argue that online watchdogs risk becoming judge and jury, shaping narratives without due process. They warn that public callouts can cause irreversible harm. VDM's response to this concern is rooted in responsibility rather than denial. He maintains that scrutiny should include activists themselves, and that transparency and debate are not enemies but partners in the same quest for justice. When both stand in the open,
that public voices must remain open to challenge. From this viewpoint, accountability is not a shield, it is an obligation. Being questioned does not weaken activism, it strengthens credibility. The aim, he suggests, is not unchecked influence, but a transparent exchange where claims, motives, and impact can be examined openly by the public. When we meet each other with reason instead of suspicion, the court of ideas becomes a place of clarity, not combat.
Social media amplifies voices, but it also amplifies scrutiny. This creates a cycle where influence is constantly tested. The challenge is maintaining fairness and truth within that cycle. When the public actively questions power, online and offline, accountability becomes a shared responsibility rather than a single institution's burden. Alone, one voice may fade. Together, the light keeps moving.
According to this perspective, the answer is not another unchecked authority. The real watchdog, VDM argues, should be the public itself, armed with information, critical thinking, and the freedom to question all sides. In the digital age, oversight becomes collective. Viewers, journalists, institutions, and communities all play a role. When we link hands, share knowledge, and keep asking why.
The question of who watches the watchdog is not an attack on activism. It is a test of its maturity. VDM's view challenges Nigeria to think beyond personalities and focus on principles. If accountability is to mean anything, it must apply universally. Governments, institutions, and digital voices alike must remain open to scrutiny. Only then does the work of holding power become credible, and only then can trust.
In a society shaped by rapid information and powerful platforms, trust depends on consistency. The future of digital accountability in Nigeria may not lie in new structures alone, but in a culture where no power, online or offline, operates without being questioned. That is the standard this debate ultimately demands.
This channel exists to explore these questions carefully. beyond headlines, personalities, or online outrage. If you want to continue unpacking how digital activism, public accountability, and online influence are reshaping
Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. In the next part of this series, we will examine what happens when online influence moves from the screen into real-world consequences and who ultimately pays the price. Stay informed, stay curious. The story is still unfolding.